is Brian Johnson, and you must have heard this Chris Bamberg here in the background. He says, welcome to, and we are enthusiastic and excited for you to join us tonight on some awesome information that we have devoted our whole lives to being students of and being masters at the same time. And we have seen it work miracles for thousands of people, and we are super enthusiastic about sharing it with you. Please feel free to reach out to us in Facebook land or wherever you know how to get a hold of us. So if you have any questions, we will be glad to answer those in any type of manner in which we can. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started, unless you got something to say, Chris.
No, welcome. We are super excited to share this information with you. Grab a pen and paper right now. If you don't already have one, take amazing notes. Memory retention is so much higher when you do. And as you can see, Brian and I will always have our little water jugs. We'll occasionally, since you will be seeing some slides possibly instead of us, we will definitely be taking some drinks and letting you know when. Because water is good for blood flow, stimulation, energy, and, well, just about everything. So, welcome.
Awesome. Good slides on.
Coming up.
All right. So, our first topic of discussion is, have you heard of the term iatrogenesis? Why are we getting background?
I don't know.
So iatrogenesis, have you heard of this term before? You may look at it and be like, what is that? Well, don't feel bad, because honestly, until 2 years ago, I had never heard of it either. And I have, just so you know, have grown up in the wellness industry. I started at age 7 years old and pretty much have been involved in it my entire life up until this point, full on 100%. And I had never even heard of it until 2 years ago when we were actually at Institute of Integrative Nutrition. So we'll actually get into that here shortly and tell you exactly what it is. So our promise to you is bold and accurate, in the sense that by the end of this online training, we promise you'll know more than 99% of your Western medicine doctors about the healing power of foods. It's kind of bold, and stay tuned and you'll kind of see what we're talking about. So we invite you to be fully present as we share this wisdom with you. Turn off your phones, close your Facebook, go where it's quiet, get some water. We invite and encourage you to take some notes. And today is really the only day that we have. Seriously, yesterday will never happen again, and tomorrow may never happen. It's never promised. So what I invite you to do is to do something now that yourself will thank you for tomorrow. And really just think about it. If you are feeling tight right now in your stomach, that's fear. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you're sad, you are living in the past. I invite you to presence yourself right now. Put your feet on the ground. Breathe into your stomach and allow yourself to completely relax and take this information in. And we invite you to be open-minded. Think of our minds as a parachute. Parachutes work best when they're what? Closed, or when they're open? When they're open. So we invite you to open your mind, and we invite you to take all the information that you've had from over the years from all kinds of different professionals and take it and put it on a shelf right here. You don't have to get rid of it. Just put it on a shelf and allow us to put some information in and see if it resonates with you, and ultimately see how you feel with it. And we're looking forward to serving you with this information. If you stay till the end, we have something special for you. And it's actually going to be, we're going to tell you how to get a free 20-minute consultation with us. And to kind of give you an idea, we charge typically $1,000 an hour for someone to pick our brain along the lines with this information. So we're actually going to gift it to you for free. Well, we'll answer whatever it is that you would like to talk about, and we'll get into whatever comes up. So here, if you're new to us and our information, here's a video that I did at the grocery store, and I'm just going to let the video talk for itself so you can kind of understand what we're in store for. There's no sound.
No. Hang on.
Randy.
Good morning, bro.
Austin, Texas, and I'm actually doing my favorite pastime, which is at the grocery store. And
choosing to take a minute to share with you what I'm grabbing for my smoothie this morning. So, Swiss chard. This is the valedictorian of vegetables because of the vitamin and mineral content. It actually has some stuff called syringic acid in it, which is great for type 1 diabetics because it helps to balance out the blood sugars. You can see the dense colors and the different veins and the nutrients that are in there. It's very high in calcium, very high in magnesium. Great for diabetics, one. Next one, carrots. These are actually really good in the sense that you see how orange they are. They're very high in beta-carotene, which is great for your lungs and your eyes. Also higher in sugar content. So if you are a diabetic, you definitely don't want to juice these. You want to make sure that you use them in a blender so that you're getting all the fibers to slow down the sugar absorption. Then broccoli, very high in I3Cs, which is endo-3-carbonyl, great for cancer and reversing those type of situations. Any estrogen-based cancers, this is very high in DEM, which is amazing for you. And you know where most of the nutrients are found? Not in the top, but actually in the stem, which is called glucoraphanin. So when you cook this stuff, don't throw away the stem. That's very important. Next one, beets. Beets beat disease, very high in betaine, which is great for helping with heart situations. Also has some stuff called uridine in it, which helps with depression. Make sure you can also, too, just make sure you wash them very well, but you can use the stems because there's a lot of nutrients in there. Beets also have a significant amount of sugar, so you want to make sure that you use them completely, like with blended versus juicing. They're also great for helping to reverse anemia. If you do have anemia, you want to make sure that you use the kiwi or something that has high in vitamin C to help with bringing in the iron in the body so your body will actually absorb it. The next cool one is the yellow beet. This one actually has very high zeaxanthins, which are great for your eyes. So anytime you have that orange color, you can bet that those are good for your eyes and good for your lungs. The red is good for your blood right there. So you have stuff flying everywhere. The red beets right there. The carrots we talked about with the lungs. And then you've also got cucumber. Bam, second highest source of silica. So females who have osteoporosis situations, you're looking to increase your bone density. Very good. Most of the nutrients are found in the skin. So you want to make sure that you get an organic cucumber so that you're not shaving all of it off. But also it's your most outgoing vegetable. So for water content and boosting your hydration, very effective. Also great for balancing out blood sugar. So if you have blood sugar issues, this is something you want to add in your diet. So when I say diet, I don't mean like in the sense of where diet is a better term for lifestyle eating. So hopefully this information was something that can help you out. And remember, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. Have an awesome day.
Boom. So now we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about what is the current state. And we're not going to spend too much time on it, but just a lot of people are aware. These are the latest numbers from the CDC, but heart disease, cancer, both hundreds of thousands. So basically 1 in 4 Americans die from heart disease every year. 1 in 4 Americans die from cancer every year. It drops off significantly when names of diseases, chronic respiratory, stroke, also really a heart disease scenario, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, influenza. Now, diabetes and Alzheimer's, if you've been reading in the papers, is on the rise dramatically. A lot to do with environmental factors. We spent some time on educating about that stuff. Here's some numbers that you probably don't know. They're a little lesser known, but really just as important. There's over 2 million adverse drug reactions a year, some of those leading up to death, which basically means you're taking the medications as you were supposed to, but your body disagreed, or you had some serious complications, or the drugs mixed and they did not have a good desired outcome. 20 million antibiotics for viral infection. Basically, this is what's leading to superbugs, not killing the viruses in any way, shape, or form. 7 million unnecessary surgical procedures, which means they went in, they did surgery, and then they realized they didn't actually have to do it, but they did it anyway because they get paid that way. 700,000 deaths due to modern medicine. It's the leading cause of death. So basically what that does is that takes your adverse drug reactions, that takes your death from unnecessary surgical procedures, medical errors, bed staff, MRSA, infections, all these ones that the medical industry doesn't really tell you about because there's so many people in the system at any given time. They're killing people by accident by hundreds of thousands. It's a very scary statistic. 350,000 deaths per year linked to overweight and obesity. And iatrogenesis, that's where Brian and I, we've been studying this stuff for a long time. And we came across that term about 3 years ago. We really understood how many people the hospital and doctor systems accidentally kill. It was scary and life-changing and eye-opening for us, that your health is not cared for by outside people. The only person that really truly cares about your health should be you. And so taking control of your health is your #1 responsibility. A bunch of other stuff that everybody's learned. Homeopathy used to be in Civil War med kits. There's over $2.7 trillion in symptom management. Basically, that means not curing or treating your disease, but treating the symptoms, medications for life. This is a scary statistic I talked about at March Against Monsanto the other day, but it's cancer used to be the 10th leading cause of death in children. Today, it's the #1, even before accidents. And then if you look at this umbilical cord statistic, which is they did a study of why now is there so many deaths among children. When they did the infant blood levels testing and they tested the umbilical cord, there was 287 toxic chemicals found on average, of which 200 were carcinogenic. If we were wondering why our children were having cancers, it's because the mothers had toxic chemicals in them and passed it to them at an early age. Our world is bombarded with chemicals that we can neither see, smell, nor touch, but they're in our foods, they're in our air supply, they're everywhere. And if we are not careful to protect ourselves and detoxify ourselves properly, they're massed in our systems. Plastics are the #1 cause of prostate cancers and xenoestrogens. Do you know that BPA, which is a common petroleum agent found in plastics, is in 97% of American urine streams because of plastic water bottles, and they're so prevalent and they decay very easily into your water supply.
So it's not your fault. We have been handed down so much stuff, and there's so much information out there just giving you all kinds of things that aren't necessarily true. That is basically, our system is designed to make you fail. As disturbing as that may sound, that is a fact. So let's just go over some myths. Myth #1, eating past 6 p.m. makes you fat. That is incorrect. Myth #2, low fat and no fat diets are good for you, which is so not the case. Myth #3, skipping meals helps you lose weight. There's a big difference between losing weight and losing body fat. Myth #4, medication is the only way to fight disease. You're going to find that we're going to present some pretty cool information to you that you may find extremely helpful to know that this is actually not the case. Myth #5, a doctor is the only place to go for health. Myth #6, fat-free equals sugar-free. Nope. Myth #7, all sugars are created equal. There's a massive difference between a Coca-Cola and a carrot sugar. Myth #8, you can lose up to 20 pounds of fat in 7 days. That's incorrect. You can lose 20 pounds of water in 7 days, but not fat. One pound of fat equals 3,500 calories. Okay. Myth #9. You can outwork a bad diet, and that is absolutely false. Your abs are made in the kitchen, as disturbing as it may sound. It's not your fault. Have you been one of the people who have tried 20 different diets and the weight won't come or stay off? I mean, I can relate to this because I've been to 63 different times, so I understand all of the trenches about going through, getting the weight off, putting it back on, all the belief systems and all that stuff. Have you been taking medications and wasting money and not feeling any better and polluting your body because your doctor says that's what you should do, and not feeling any different? It's definitely kind of questionable. Are you trying to maximize every area in your life now, your mind, your body, and your spirit? If you're not, and you think that it's impossible to have all of it, I invite you to consider another option. Keep in mind, by the looks of these pictures, you can understand that we are human. We are just like you. Matter of fact, we probably are in worse shape than some of you at the moment. But the important part to remember is that we've been on the journey that you're going on. I've been like the one on the right 3 different times. I think I've actually been heavier than that, like 30 pounds heavier than that. But I can just tell you this. Each time you can tell by that position, that picture, that I definitely was not in a good place mentally And that's obviously why I had gotten into that spot. So you're going to find that a lot of information that Chris and I discuss is, yeah, it's going to be on the grocery store healing foods. And it's also going to be on the emotional components to help you to understand why you're sabotaging yourself, why your body is being stubborn, what you need to do to move past those things, and what type of emotional healing processes and mindsets that you require taking on and using to help work through these things.
But look, there's good news. Good news is 90% of these deaths and symptoms that we talked about are preventable with better lifestyle choices. Brian and I focus on air, water, food, and consciousness. These are the 4 main pillars of our health, because we discovered a long time ago that these are the most important order of things, simply because they are the things that you die without. If you understand, when we were practicing food and we were helping people with diet, and then we understood the importance of water, we understood food was now 3rd on the chain. The first thing you'll die without, and it's so underrated because everybody just has a conscious effort, and most people are only breathing enough to stay conscious, is our oxygen. And oxygen is used in so many Eastern cultures and old healing modalities as a healing cure, because it is the #1 source of your energy, the #1 source to fight viruses and bacteria. The #1 source of our detoxification is our oxygen. And you'll die in a few days without water. And water is also so much underappreciated, simply because people have had access to water in America at their fingertips, tap water that's got chemicals, or treated water, or bottled water, and they don't realize that the quality of the water, 1, matters, and then 2, so many substitutes, fruit juices, energy drinks, coffees, and sodas, and all these other things as substitutes for good, clean, quality water that are doing their body dysfunction. And then there's so many imitation food now. If you go to the grocery store, if nobody was there to take care of the grocery store, in a week the fruits and vegetables section would be rotted, and 80% of the grocery store would still be full of processed food that didn't die, and that it has the same kind of effect in your body. It does not help you if it's not a living food anymore. I don't even need to spend time on the slide, but basically Brian and I have been through thousands of hours of training, certifications, classes to educate ourselves. We've served over the last 40 years, we've served over 15,000 clients. And you know, time and time again, we have tried and worked through things. We understood that training wasn't enough, so we studied nutrition. We understood that nutrition wasn't enough, so we got into counseling and body language and acupressure and all these wonderful other healing modalities, because all these things have, well, they have potential to help somebody. And the more we can learn about how to help people, the more successful we're going to be. So here's a quick slide that, you know, if in this top center, Brian and I talking at Life Austin, we spoke at a few different churches multiple times. We did a nutrition series. If you look up there in the background, Brian's got a little picture of a pizza and a cupcake. Those are whose 2 favorite foods, and mine are burgers and Oreo cookies, believe it or not. And we just, when we understand what a diet is and we understand what we're doing right or good for us 90% of the time, we feel comfortable with rewarding ourselves, not cheating. Word choice is important. Rewarding ourselves with the foods that we enjoy the most, and we know how to do that and still maintain the body compositions that we desire, and we teach that to our clients as well. These are pictures on the right from the March Against Monsanto. I've been blessed and honored to speak there the last 3 years. This was the one 2 years ago. Thousands of people showed up, even though it was in the rain. It's a beautiful thing where people are marching for freedom for their food and understanding, because there's so many chemicals and herbicides and pesticides that are in, not just on our foods anymore, but in our foods due to genetic manipulation, and people are totally unaware that that these chemicals are in their foods. The average American that they do urinary test, it shows up 10s or 20s of different types of pesticides and herbicides that are in their urine stream because they're eating it in their food, and they're totally unaware. Brian, you want to talk about some of your little images?
Oh, yeah. So just really quick, you know, we've been blessed to work with some amazing public speakers and high-level entrepreneurs, and, you know, moms and dads and people with diseases and things like that too. But the gentleman up on the top left, that's America's Connection Coach, Jonathan Sprinkles, and he's a good friend of mine and a client. And I actually get to help him with all his nutrition stuff while he travels, and I get to help his whole staff stay healthy and also help to keep him healthy. So there's a lot of things that we do in the health and wellness field with a lot of different people just like yourself. So it's important for you to understand that we are by far not perfect, and we have done a lot of things wrong. I wouldn't necessarily say wrong, but not serving your highest potential, because what we used to do is do a lot of personal training stuff, and you can't really help a whole lot of people being in a one-on-one situation teaching someone how to do some type of exercise, because what we found is that it doesn't matter how hard someone works out. If your food is off and you have emotional stress and trauma going on that has not been dealt with appropriately, your body is not going to change. And we discovered this the hard way. And the beautiful thing about this is you get to actually have the easy way after we've ironed all the kinks out. So after 40 years of combined experience and over 15,000 case studies, we found the formula for your health and vitality.
So imagine just now, right? Because this is the experience that we have offered for many of our clients. We've helped them reach these points that now that they can have more energy than you've had in years. And I got to be honest, a lot of people don't even know that they're feeling bad until they start feeling better. What an incredible feeling it is when they start wearing clothes that they haven't worn, or you haven't worn clothes that you wore at your best. Maybe it was college weight. Maybe it was only a few years ago. Maybe there was a change in medication. It caused you to gain weight. Maybe you gave up smoking and you had weight gain associated to it. But now imagine yourself back in the clothes when you were in your best shape ever. Imagine you enjoying life pain-free. I got to be honest, this is a huge one for personal for me, because my mom suffered from fibromyalgia, which is one of the reasons why I got so dedicated into this. And after about 8 years, after a hard day work, she could be bedridden in excruciating pain for 3 days. And doctors don't have an answer for it. They give you pain medications and immune suppressants, but you just get worse. Well, we changed my mother's diet, and after 5 months, all of her symptoms went away. She's living life pain-free, and she has been for 7 or 8 years now. And that's an incredible feeling, because you don't know that it doesn't matter what you have in life. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. Like, it doesn't matter how nice your house is. It doesn't matter how nice your car is. If your health is absent, you don't care about any of those things, because your health is your life, and that's it. That's all that really matters. Imagine your relationships more connected than ever before. And we mean this because we help people understand what's going on, how to communicate, what's really going on. Why is there self-sabotage or limiting beliefs or miscommunication between people, and what's really going on? How do you reach the core and communicate better than ever before and be connected to them again, forgiving all past incidences and moving forward? And you're no longer required wasting money on medication where foods can reverse symptoms. We have had so many clients get off 5, 6, 7, 8 medications. Some of them they've been on for 20 or 30 years, and they just thought that was just a normal part of life. And now they are off those medications for the rest of their life. And they didn't replace it with some other medication or supplement. They learned how to do it with foods from the grocery store. So, a little disclaimer for Brian and I don't know if you haven't figured this out, all right, but Brian and I, we're not doctors. In fact, well, we're kind of glad we're not doctors, but the medical system has set themselves up that doctors are the #1 place for health, for all things health. Even though less than 6% of graduating physicians have even 3 credit hours in nutrition. So when we tell you that after this, you're going to know more than 99% of doctors, we are absolutely correct, because we can just teach you a few things about magical healing foods in the grocery store that they know absolutely nothing about, because they're not taught it, because it's not a medication. We know that doctors are called practicing medicine because that's all they do, and that's the only way they know to get people healthy. But that is not the only way for you to get healthy. So we have a little process. We're going to go over 7 steps, big steps for freedom of your health. Just a basic understandings that we find are the 7 biggest things for you to understand. Understanding macros, proteins, carbs, fats. What's the difference? Why are they important? What do they all do as function in your bodies? Micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, phytonutrients. These are the real key to your health when you want to talk about being healthy and a strong immune system and strong energy. The micronutrients are the key, and that's what the fitness industry sort of misses out on. 7 best diet theories and why. We spent a lot of time on this in our nutrition series, but why are these the 7 best? There's hundreds of diet theories out there. Most of them are fad-like, but we put some intelligence behind these. Digestive flora, immune system, immune boosting. symptom reversal foods, the power of blending and juicing, and goals and accountability. And I promise you, goals and accountability are the utmost important if you're going to be successful for life. So a little time on macros. What do you need to know to manipulate body composition? And I got to tell you, there's so much misinformation from the weight loss industry, from the fitness industry. Everybody thinks they know exactly what they're talking about. There's a study to prove that this is right or that is right or this is right, and it's so much misinformation. But what do you require really knowing about? A protein. A protein breaks down to amino acids. Those are just simple building blocks for your body. One of the most important things for you to know and to have as a stable part of your diet. There's lots of diets where they're cutting out fats or cutting out carbs and even cutting out proteins, but really all are required for your health and all the different fashions and amounts, and how much of each is really important. Carbohydrates are kind of like jet fuel, right? They're the fastest burning fuel source. There's simple carbohydrates, there's complex carbohydrates, there's processed carbohydrates. There's a big difference between the glycemic index, so how quickly it becomes sugars. There's a big difference between glycemic load and how much insulin or hormone response comes from the types of carbohydrates that you eat. These are all good information for you to study and understand, and how it makes up a good mix of your diet. There's lots of breakdowns too. So how much of my diet should be based in protein? How much of my diet should be breaking carbs? How much of my diet should be broken down in fats? And fats are crucial for your health. There's even diets like ketogenic diets, where it's a mostly fat-based diet. And a lot of people think, oh, well, that seems crazy from what I've learned. But that's actually, if you don't know this, you're born ketogenic. Mama's milk is mostly fat and a little bit of protein. And you don't mix in carbs until much later into your life. But fats are crucial for our joints, for our mind. Our brain is actually made of 60% fats, especially like DHA fats and the rich omega-3 fatty acids. So how often should you eat, and how much should you eat? Listen, I have read so many studies that say you should eat this many meals a day, or it doesn't matter if you do the 3-hour increments. But Brian and I have worked with thousands of clients, and we've seen it work thousands of times. Eating a scheduled meal plan, breaking up your proteins, carbs, and fats over multiple increment meals over the day, both speeds up your metabolism and helps correct your body composition, building up your muscle tissue, breaking down fat. And do not miss breakfast. It kickstarts the energy for your day. It helps you break down more energy for the day. It is the most important meal of the day. And so many Americans just skip breakfast, drink some coffee, go out their day, eat and don't eat again till lunch or later.
So here's my client, Russell, and you can tell that he was about 23% in that picture on the left, and he's actually down to 6 or 7%. But the important thing to remember here is there's something that you can't see, is that Russell got down to 12% 2 different times, and he sabotaged himself back up to 23% because he didn't feel that he was worthy. He had some love, some value issues, some self-worth things, and we all do. We're all human. That's exactly what happened to me 3 times. So it's important that as you start going through this metamorphosis with yourself, that you're also addressing your mindset, addressing the fact that you may have some anger, some resentment, you're not loving yourself, you have some unforgiveness. All of this stuff plays a dramatic role in how you can get down into shape, and you're being able to maintain it and to look great every day versus being down there for 4 or 5 days and then losing it all back up. So step 2, we're going to talk about micros, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and all these things are extremely crucial. And it's just looking at from like a bird's eye view. This is not things you need to memorize, but it's things that you require being familiar with so you can maximize your presence and your ability to provide the best life for yourself and your family. So we're going to talk a lot about vitamins and minerals. We'll talk about enzymes and how they are important for breaking down your food and how they can actually help to repair. We'll talk about managing blood sugars, and you may have even watched one of the videos that I posted recently on blood sugar things. Talking about hormones and how to balance them out, how to boost them, how about fighting disease and reversing it, and boosting your metabolism, and how to improve your motor function by certain fats and what to put into your diet. So this is Carol. It's a really amazing story. This one really kind of expanded my mind to what was available. But Carol was 73, and she basically was passionate about playing tennis when she was in her early 20s. Well, long story short, she came down with asthma and literally had to stop playing tennis, and her whole life changed. So much so that she actually moved to Arizona and started trying out different climates because she couldn't breathe here in Austin. Well, she got down there. She started working with 2 or 3 different professionals. Like, she even went to different areas of the United States to find different professionals that specialize in asthma and breathing. And the best that she got was on an inhaler, which means she still couldn't do exercise because it caused her an issue. Well, we basically came in contact about 3 years ago now and started. She came at me at the gym. This is actually when I was still personal training. She came to the gym. We sat down, we chatted for a little bit. We said, all right, well, let's go ahead and start trying to do a little bit of working out. So literally, we worked out for 20 seconds and took a break for a minute. Worked out for 20 seconds and took a break for a minute. That's how bad her breathing was, that she wasn't able to inhale fully and receive oxygen. She almost died 3 times, where she actually had to have CPR because she couldn't get her breath back when she was in Arizona. So here's the crazy stuff. We started her on, and I'll tell you what it is. If you require it and you need to use it, then here, I'll bless you with the information now. And there's obviously a lot more where this comes from when we get into our program. Kiwi, 2 kiwis and fish oils, 2,000 milligrams. Okay. We started two kiwis and some fish oils. She came back to work out the next day, not 2 days later, not 3 days later, the next day. We started working out and she kept going, and we kept going. We kept going for a whole hour where we didn't have to stop. And I was like, holy cow. I was like, Carol, I was like, what did you do? She goes, well, I started on the 2 kiwis, like you said, before I got to the gym this morning. And I started on the fish oils, like you said, yesterday. We went to the store and picked them up. Honestly, that, I want to say, blow my mind, cancel clear. That expanded my mind when you're talking conscious languaging, because you get what you say. It expanded my mind to understand that God knows what he's doing. He has all this information stored in foods that are at your grocery store that most people have no idea that that's what they do. I didn't until probably 6 or 7 years ago. And then I just completely immersed myself with one of my teachers for about 4,000 hours worth. And I have seen, Chris and I both have seen so many miracles happen that we expect that to happen when we deliver this information with people who have certain issues and symptom issues. So we invite you to consider, if you have symptoms now, your doctor may have told you something, and I invite you to consider that there's probably another way that we could probably help you out with to dramatically help you to reclaim your life and break free from the prison that you're in, that you don't have to be. It's not about managing your symptoms. It's about reversing them completely from the grocery store. So here's some stuff we're going to talk about. These are some of our favorite dietary theories. We're going to talk about the Mediterranean diet and the South Beach diet. We'll talk about the zone diet. We'll talk about the Atkins diet and how you can actually do it healthy and the health benefits of it. We're going to talk about 80-20 and 90-10. 80-20 and 90-10 are just 80% good, 20% reward meal. Not 80% good, 20% bad. Same thing with 90-10. We'll also talk about raw food eating and its benefits. And then we'll actually talk about blood type dieting. And here's your cue to get a drink.
Yeah.
Here's my little drinking container. I have a few. This is a glass one. It's actually very nice.
Where'd you get that one, Brian?
Bed Bath & Beyond. Penny got it for me for one of my Christmas presents. And here's my other jug. BPA free. It's a big heavy duty plastic, which I don't prefer. And I don't have the other one. I'll drop it somewhere and break it. So next slide, please. So the next thing we're going to talk about is your immune system. And did you know that 85% of your immune system is located in your gut? So if you're constipated and you have diarrhea, or you have IBS, or you have emotional things that you haven't processed, your digestive tract is responsible for 85% of your immune system. So if you're not taking probiotics, if you're not having normal bowel movements, 2 to 3 a day, we definitely should talk, because you have some things that definitely require being addressed that can dramatically change pretty fast. Okay, if you're constipated, You potentially have some things with not letting go with ease emotionally. So we'll actually talk about digestive flora, to where we have 4 pounds of gut bacteria in our intestines. Okay. The key is balancing out that good bacteria to where it's like 80% good and 20% not so good. Probiotics like sauerkraut and fermented foods, kimchi, good belly probiotics. These are amazingly helpful for you. If you are writing down anything, I invite you to write down good belly big shots and sauerkraut. Get some. Start taking it. You will boost your immune system by 85% with those 2 components alone. And you will, and a little body language, you will dramatically improve the quality of your bowel movement and enjoy your experience. Smiley face. My client, Lily. So Lily is one of these amazing athletes who likes to do crazy things. And she started at 31% body fat, and we dropped her down to 22% in 17 days. Now, so you know, this is not a normal scenario. A typical scenario for someone is anywhere from 1 to 3% body fat a week. And if you get 1 to 3% consistently, that is amazing. Love yourself and be thankful, because that's where, if you can do that, that's great. But she actually had some superwoman results. So I think it's good to express it, to show you that you could be that very person right there that makes all the adjustments and implements the things that we discuss and executes them, which is the key. And you could have stellar results like that too.
We're going to spend some time on symptom reversal foods. Here's just some of the many ones that we love. In our programs, we generally cover well over 100 different types of foods, because this is the wisdom that we love to share. Brian and I share this kind of wisdom in our videos, which is maybe how you've been encountered with us so far. But look, just some of these amazing foods on here. One of our favorite ones up here in the top corner, that's avocado on the top right. We talk about this one all the time. I did a video today on managing your cholesterol and understanding the difference. And, you know, the avocado has 3 grams of soluble fiber there in the meat. Brian and I both do high horsepower blending. So if you can actually include the seed, that's 12 grams of soluble fiber. So the whole avocado has 15 grams of soluble fiber. That's like 15 bowls of Cheerios. And Cheerios gets an endorsement from the American Heart Association because it has 1 gram of soluble fiber. And you're going to be taking in that Cheerios with milk and sugar, which actually make your cholesterol worse. It also has 150 milligrams of beta-cistrol. It is it's like the #1 food for glutathione, which is a protein-based enzyme that can pass through the blood-brain barrier and fight off free radicals. Amazing healing food. You heard Brian talk about the beet in one of his videos. That's there in the bottom right corner. That beautiful looking flower, that's echinacea. There are some studies that show that echinacea can boost your immune system by over 400%. You know, there's so many people where their first reflexes when their children or themselves get sick is immediately go to the doctor and try to get antibiotics. And remember how we talked about so many millions of prescribed antibiotics for viruses? Echinacea can be just an easy, at-home, added to your diet that can dramatically change your functioning of your immune system and beat disease before it ever even starts to take hold in your body. Right above that, that's the agaricus mushroom, one of the most studied mushrooms on the planet. In fact, mushrooms as a whole are the most studied food on the planet. One, because they're loaded with immune boosting properties. The agaricus is really known for its natural killer cells, boosting up natural killer cells both in leukemia patients or even healthy people. It's one of the most studied anti-cancer foods on the planet. And in fact, there's a mushroom complex symptom called the AHCC. It's a combination of 3 or 4 different mushrooms. It is the most, it's the #1 over-the-counter cancer alternative medication supplement that you can take. A couple other ones on there: cilantro, heavy metal chelator, walnut, the king of the nuts, man, loaded with L-arginine. It's the only nut that has alpha lipoic acid, or good for your heart, good for your brain. You know, old Eastern cultures used to say that the foods look like the part that you helped. And if you've ever looked at a walnut, it really looks like a brain. And sure enough, science has proved that sure enough, the walnut is actually good for the brain because it's omega-3 fatty acid content. Acai berry there in the top left corner, that is considered the #1 superfood in the world, mainly because of its anthocyanins. Anthocyanins is a powerful antioxidant, and it's what gives that dark blue color. It's found in all blueberries. Coconut, extremely antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. There's a supplement you can get that's derived from coconut that's called monolaurin. It is prescribed consistently in lots of countries for HIV, fighting the herpes virus. It is one of the most potent antiviral substances in nature, and it is amazing fat for you. And then we have the beautiful, wonderful bees. There's so many good things that you can get from bees, just regular honey, raw, unnatured from your local areas. And also you can get bee pollen, which has got phytonutrients out the wazoo. And you can even get what they call royal jelly, which is what they prepare for the queen before she lays thousands of eggs. So many amazing foods in nature, and we have a time in life right now where you have access to foods that nobody has ever had access to before from all around the world. And most people don't even know that this power is within their grasp.
So step number 5, symptom reversal foods. We'll talk about it. So hey, we're going to talk about a lot of different foods specifically on. Go ahead. So we'll talk about 100 different foods. We'll talk about things specifically on diabetes, obesity, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, cholesterol, autoimmune dysfunction. Talk specifically about foods that are going to cater to reversing colds, flu, and viruses. And better than that, we're going to talk about not even getting them, which is really the way to go. We'll talk about bacteria and parasite issues. We'll talk about arthritis and a lot more.
I think there's something going on with your sound, Brian. I don't know if you're kicking back and getting feedback or whatever, but
yeah,
anyway,
totally.
It's all good. We're also going to talk about blending and juicing. Which is better is the common misconception. Actually, both are amazing for you, but there's different conditions with each. Brian and I are bigger promoters of blending because you're taking in the whole food, the skins, the cores, the seeds, all different types of amazing nutrients that a lot of times the juicer is going to separate out. Also, the fiber itself, which also has a lot of the vitamins and minerals and enzymes, also helps you slow down the absorption of some sugars when you separate it out in juice. And so sometimes juicing can, even though it gives you a quick, good energy spike and it can be good for certain things, also can have detrimental impacts. But also, there's so many amazing things when you let's say for cancer sufferers, you know, they have this amazing place like Gerson Therapy where they're giving you 12 juices a day because you're not able to sometimes drink a big thick smoothie that's blended, but it's easier to down juices and you can get more enzymes in a liquid state sometimes, and you're not so worried about the other effects. But from a nutrient standpoint, both are amazing for you. And in our programs, we spend a lot of time explaining, and even more so, the recipes that help you with your symptoms and return your body to ultimate health that you can use in just a simple at-home recipe in blending and juicing. Goals, priorities, and accountability. What are your priorities? The number one excuse we hear out of anybody is, I don't have enough time. But everybody is blessed with the exact same amount of time every single day. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, fast-paced life or not. Now, maybe you have priorities that you have put ahead of your health. And so therefore you are associating these things as more important than your health. And so therefore you don't have time for your health. But what are your priorities? Are they defined? Do you have goals written down for each priority? If you've ever seen Brian and I in person, a lot of our work shirts have God, family, health, and business, G, F, H, and B, in that order on our shirts, because those are our priorities in life. Everything else that doesn't fit into those priorities always falls to the wayside of our priorities, because that's the way we choose to live our life. And it easily assists us with our time management. And who is holding you accountable? And that's a big one, because if you don't have somebody holding you accountable, most people will fall to the wayside. So here's the old model. The old model is only trusting your doctor to your health, basically not even concerning your health unless you get sick and you can't function, and then you go to the hot doctor and you take medications to manage your symptoms. This doesn't improve your health. It just keeps you from dying. And this is, a lot of Americans are living in this model still. Trying fad diets, crash dieting, fasting, and lose weight. Look, there's so much misinformation under there. You're not to blame for this. You are marketed to and sold to all this poor information, and we do choose to give you the right formula for your health. Buying expensive supplements and diet pills. Brian and I are not here to sell you some $150 a month supplement that you're supposed to take for the rest of your life, or that's just going to get you feeling better, more energy. There's plenty of stuff out there to do that. But if we can teach you what to buy at the grocery store, you'll know how to eat for life. And viewing obstacles as hard, too much work, or stressful. Life is perception. And stress, which is mental stress, by the way, is related to almost every single disease in the book. It makes them all worse. And it's all perceived stress. So we teach you how to change your perception. The new model is taking full responsibility for your health right now, your well-being and your future. The only person that truly cares about your health is you. Learn how protein, carbs, and fats impact your body composition and how to make them work for you instead of against you, or counting calories or this old model thinking. Learn the power of grocery store foods, not expensive supplements. And life is a choice. You can make it fun and easy. Brian and I say this all the time, which is like, when we are struggling with something or we're about to go, oh, this is so much harder work, you know what? I'm going to choose to make this fun and easy. I can have the perception of making this lighthearted, and I can make this work for me. Johnny is a longtime client of mine. He has been a product of the Western medical system. He has had multiple organs removed. He's been in and out of the hospital. They never told him how to eat for his diabetes. They gave him foods of do or do not eat. It was not really helpful. But there are foods out there that can help you reverse your diabetes. And if you've ever been in the South, you've probably been to or seen a Johnny Carino's Southern Italian. Delicious place to eat, not so great for your heart, but it's Johnny's namesake. So I'm going to play this little.
Carino, speaking to you from my home here in Atlanta about Chris Vanberg. I just came to tell you, for the last 3-4 years or so, I have struggled with my very own health issues. I am an expert in the restaurant industry. I'm a great chef. When it comes to health, sometimes you need to reach out to other people. That's why I reach out, and I trust Chris to help me with my plans on eating, being healthy, and ways to beat my diabetes. Chris is A1 in my book.
So here's the invitation. Join us. Slide. So here's what we're offering for you tonight. We're offering you to join us on a 6-week live nutrition training about all the stuff that we just discussed, plus a lot more in depth. We're going to get into mindset stuff. In addition to that, we're going to get into disease and symptom-specific reversal foods at a value of $697. We're going to give you access to the recordings. If you missed the live sessions, you will receive our Healthy Eating Digital Recipe Book, so you can understand how we create foods on a daily basis to satisfy and to basically support our lifestyles and do what we do. What you're going to get is bonus number 1 is you're going to get access to our community, where you will be plugged into our group of people that know, like, and trust, and that we share information with on a family level, where you can ask questions, you can get community support from all like-minded individuals, and we post tons of exclusive videos and content in our group specifically for our people.
So as follow-up, like Brian said, we're going to get the 6 online trainings: nutrition, mindset, symptom reversal foods, creating a nutrition program for life, access to recordings if you missed the session, our recipe books, and 2 months into our community support of our paid Facebook group. We have, I think almost 100 people in our clients' nutrition group right there. It's an amazing community. So if you have questions, it's easy to get a response. Lots of amazing questions when you're trying to eat healthy about what to do or where to shop or where to eat or where to buy certain things. an amazing community. When you know you are the sum of the people that you hang out and surround yourself the most with, and if you surround yourself with people that are all have the same like-minded goals, you are way more likely to be successful. We're also going to give, for the first 10 people, some smoothie recipes that Brian and I have created that we have learned. And well, because I'll be honest, the art of smoothie making is a fine art indeed. And we can tell you about certain ingredients. And if you don't know what quantities to put in of some types of ingredients, you really have to have a strong palate to be able to handle some of the taste, because it's very easy to screw up a delicious smoothie by putting a little bit too much of one thing or not enough another. And so we put those smoothie recipes in there in a nice little video sequence for you, simply because it's powerful information, it's life-changing information, and if you want the fine art to be simplified a little bit for yourself, we include that. But that's only for the first 10 people. So go ahead and click and roll now if you're interested, but we got some more stuff to give you right now. So all the things that we've talked about, we're gonna get the trainings, recipe book, closed access community support, the smoothie videos, and we have one more thing we want to give you. This is really our most valuable offer, but this is only for the first 5 people. And it's a 30-minute consultation with Brian and I. And because it's really, this is what we've learned, right? Is Brian and I only have limited amounts of time. And we provide this information to as many people as possible that we can. But the time, once again, time is the same thing that we only have. So our time with us is limited. We can give digital products and we put as much potent and powerful information that we can on these products, but it's very important that you are able to implement this and ask questions and be able to have a real consult. And if you really want to know what limiting beliefs or self-sabotage stuff you're struggling with, like Russell was, or my dear friend Elise that trained for a fitness show, or emotional stuff that Brian and I have both done and been through. If you look at our before and afters, those are physical changes, but our emotional body changes were so much greater and exponentially better, but we don't have a picture for those, unfortunately. But this is valuable. This is the most valuable thing we offer. So I would encourage you to enroll right now. And lastly, this is Brian's client, Violet. And I don't think anything needs to be said except what she says herself. So please listen closely.
Hi, my name is Violet. I choose to take a few minutes and talk to you about my experience with reaching out to Brian. About 6 months ago, I contacted Brian. I just had some questions about nutrition, different things I could change up just to start feeling better. And we also talked about different medications I was on at the time. He mentioned foods that specifically could do the same thing as what the medications were doing, except naturally. And so along with that, and the other list of things that he said to try, I started doing that immediately. And after about a month, I started to wean myself off of one of my medications. And then after I got off that one, I started weaning myself off another medication. And after 3 months, I had gotten off of 5 medications. Some of these medications I was on for 30 years, some I was on for 15 years, and some I was on for 10 years. And so these are things that I thought I was going to have to take for the rest of my life. Before that conversation with Brian, I didn't even realize that there was another option. And, it's been 6 months since, I talked to him about these, specific things, and 3 months of being completely off medicine. And I really am so happy and thankful and grateful for Brian and for the work that he does and just the love that he has for people and showing them that they have other options, that they can feel good just with the right information. And I just felt really blessed to have the opportunity to talk to him about those things going on in my health and my diet, and that he's so knowledgeable and just really helpful and offers you this opportunity to change your life. And that's at least the way I look at it, because I look at this more than just I'm off medication. To me, a miraculous act. You know, to be able to say, I'm free from all of this. And it's also given me, you know, such a sense of empowerment too, to know that, you know, doctors couldn't do this. You know, boots from the grocery store did this. So it's kind of wild. But definitely grateful for it. Thank you.
So in closing, one, I hope you listen to that testimonial. It's just so powerful, just life-changing. Can you imagine that? Medication you've been on for 30 years and finally being free from it? It's like chains that they're not visible, but you know they're there. And that's just real freedom. So this is what we're offering you today, investing in your own health. We've got 6 trainings, healthy eating recipe playbook, the community access, super valuable there. The smoothie recipe videos, life-changing. A consultation with Brian and I to really get you set up and going. You could see why $768 would be a good deal. For the general public, we charge $4.99 on our website for this, on the 8-week fast track port. But this today, right now, since you stayed to the very end, we appreciate you staying, and we hope you found this invested. We trust that you did. Your enrollment investment is $244. You can enroll below, send a PayPal request. If you have any questions, please reach out. You have till 10 p.m. to sign up. So please reach out to us on Facebook if you have questions before then. And we love to hear from you, and we love to be able to provide this value for you. And just in case there was any doubts, if for any reason you were unsatisfied with the product in the first 2 weeks, just give us a call. We'll give you your money back. We can say that purely and honestly and truthfully because nobody's ever asked for their money back, because we believe in over-delivering and give you way more than what you pay for. We want you to have value because we want you to have this life-changing information. It's never about the money for us. It's really about helping people, and we're here to serve you and help you and bless you, and hopefully make an exponential impact across your whole family. So thank you for this, and thank you for your time this evening. We know that time is a valuable resource, and we're glad you decided to invest this time in yourself this evening. So so thank you, and we bless you. And Brian, anything else in closing?
Yeah, I do. Last closing. You know, one time I was having a discussion with my coach before I started making a $3,000 a month investment in my coaching, and he goes, you know, Brian, if you focus on the payment, you'll never receive the payoff. And really got me questioning myself and looking out into my future and say, okay, what is this truly costing me by not investing in myself and getting the skill sets and the knowledge and the support and the accountability from someone who's already doing it and knows how to get where I require and desire to be? What is it costing me? It's costing me a lot more than $3 grand. Okay. So really what I'm doing is I'm just inviting you to open your mind and say, if you're on the fence about investing in yourself, give yourself permission to love yourself and to give yourself permission to invest in yourself. And we're not talking $3 grand, we're talking $244 with information that's going to change your life if you use it and if you execute it. I'm talking about not going to the doctor because you don't get sick. I'm talking about when you go to the grocery store because you have a symptom, you know exactly what to do and how to reverse it today, without having to go to get a shot or go to the doctor and get a prescription and get in that whole route. So I just invite you to consider the option. Imagine what if you did invest in yourself, how would your life be different and in what way specifically? So I'll leave you with that. And that's all I got. And remember, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye.